Welcome to Fleetistics Getting Started with Geotab webinar. My name is Lynn, and I'll be your instructor today, walking you through all of the different things that our system does. Let's start with logging in. Your systems administrator will have already set up with us how you'll be logging in. We have standard login where you enter a username and password. We also offer single sign-on, which is what I'll be using today. Since I'm already logged into our company systems, I simply click my login button and it automatically logs me in to MyFleetistics. Not only is your tracking contained here, but a lot of other great content, including our help desk support, links to other trainings, our learning management system, and much, much more. Let's start with the MyFleet View map. This is a quick snapshot of the last reported location of your vehicles or assets. Vehicles that are close together will be clustered. This is to keep the vehicle icons from overlapping each other on the map. By left-clicking the cluster, it will open up, and clicking each vehicle will give you the date, time the device last reported, battery status, and additional information. You can zoom in and out of the map by using the wheel scroll of your mouse. Another great tool you'll find in MyFleetistics is under Analytics and Reports. It's the first item here, called Dashboard Device Status. The device status table shows you what vehicles are reporting and what vehicles are not, how long it's been since they've reported in a simple red is bad, green is good format. This table allows you to sort and filter, to look for an individual device, or to navigate to a group of devices based on the status of that group. You can also create a case for a non-reporting device right from this table. Click the Create a Case button that looks like a flag, fill out the information on the form, and click Open Case. This will automatically create a case, notify our support team, and they will contact you directly. We don't have time to go through all of these, but I'll give you a quick highlight on each one. The DriveTrax dashboard is another system that we offer, which is similar to 1-800 How's My Driving. If you're interested in something like that, contact your account manager and ask for more details. The safety dashboard pulls exception information from your GPS tracking system and assembles it into a dashboard that allows you to get a very quick view of the exceptions that have occurred in your system. The battery voltage report, just like it sounds, the voltage on the battery on each vehicle within your fleet. The fuel report is used in conjunction with our Fleetistics WEX fuel cards. You can also speak to your account manager for more information on that. This is a handy dashboard that pulls information such as how much fuel was purchased by dollar amount, distance driven, average MPG, and other information. The data can be filtered by numerous preset values as well as custom date ranges. The odometer report will give you the current odometer reading on each vehicle in your database. The Priority Alerts report is used in conjunction with our Priority Notification service, which is something some of our clients subscribe to for after-hours alerts. The Safety Exceptions report Again, a list of the exceptions that were triggered in your system. And Rollup Reporting is a new feature that we're working on for our clients with multiple branches that want to be able to give a certain amount of visibility to the branches for corporate information or to corporate for branch information. Talk to your account manager if you have interest in any of those. Let's move on to our Help and Training menu. Under Help and Training, the first link will take you to our brand new training and support site. On this site, you can sign up for our newsletter to receive updates on maintenance, system status, and even new products and services that we'll be offering. You can also register for webinars, download PDFs and other training resources, access our video playlists, access installation and equipment information, and deployment tips and resources. Each one of these boxes is a link to another resource that's available to you. We're updating and adding to it all the time. Our training and support page also has links for you to access our knowledge base, register for live webinar training, create a username and password to use our learning management system for self-paced training, or access the support case page to open a support case or follow up on an existing support case. Back to the main menu, this is where you will find your main link to support cases. You can see both open and closed, even canceled support cases in this view. You can look at the history on the support cases to see what was done and when it was done. Our support ticketing system allows us to keep a detailed record of every open and closed support case. Under the Account tab, you can access a list of your current assets. You can access billing information, previous orders, quotes, and invoices. There's another link to access your open cases, your account profile, where you can upload your company logo to be displayed on your user interface, additional services, and your user list. All of that is accessible right here from the main panel. Most importantly, back up at the top under telematics and dash cams, this is where you will actually launch your system. There are two buttons to launch Geotab. One launches it in the same window with MyFleetistics. The other launches it in a new tab so that MyFleetistics can remain open while you're using MyGeotab, and you can easily go back and forth without losing what you're looking at in the actual GPS tracking user interface. I've already opened MyGeotab in a new tab, so let's hop over there and get started. This is your GPS tracking platform where you'll be able to name your vehicles, create reports, track your vehicles, create rules, zones that your vehicles can interact with, and a whole lot more. When you log into the system for the first time, you'll be presented with the end user license agreement. Once you have agreed to that, it will take you to the product guide. By default, this is where the application opens, but in your user options, you'll be able to set it for whatever you want to have it open on. I want to direct your attention up to the upper right-hand corner of the screen where you can see your username showing. Click your username, then the Options button. And this will take you to a page where you can configure your personal settings. These are changed on a per user basis, so whatever you select only affects your login. You can change how distances are measured, how dates are formatted, how times are formatted, your time zone, and much, much more. The default page at startup can be set to populate the map, the dashboard, your vehicle list, or the product guide. After you've made the changes, don't forget to scroll back up to the top of the page and click the Save button. While we're here, I'd like to also mention on the options list, there is an option here in MyGeotab to change your password. Please don't ever change your password using that link. You'll break the connection to MyFleetistics. Anytime you want to update your password, use the Change Password feature in MyFleetistics and it will automatically sync to your MyGeotab account. So let's move on to the map. That's what you all really came here for. Clicking the Map button will populate all or part of your vehicles and their last known position to the map. The menu is very interactive. You can choose one vehicle or multiple vehicles. And when you make your selections, the map will resize itself accordingly. Once we've selected a few vehicles, let's take a look at the map legend. Vehicles stopped inside a zone will appear as a star. If a vehicle is moving, it shows up as a triangle, and the tip of the triangle will reflect the direction of travel. When an exception occurs, it will populate on the map as an exclamation point inside of a triangle. An exception is a rule that, if true, will trigger an alert or a notification. Also on the legend bar at the bottom of the map, you have the option to choose individual exception rules that you want to show on the map. There is a Select All button. There's also a button to remove all if you want to clear that information off of the map. There are also some additional selections up at the top to show weather, add zones, choose some specific map options like to show traffic, and to choose map types as well. When you hover over a vehicle on the map, it will give you a pop-up with some useful information such as the name of the vehicle, the time and date it arrived at the location, as well as the location address, or if it's moving, it will give you some speed information as well. Now turn your attention to the trip's history button. By clicking this, all the vehicles that you had selected on the map will populate their trip up until the current time. You can see how long a vehicle has been stopped, the idle time, drive time, mileage. Also, if a vehicle enters a zone, the zone name will appear, and a zone icon that shows the color of the zone on the map. If there is no zone, it will show the address for the location stopped at. The Options button above will let you change the date so you can view historical data, or even customize the data to pull a trip's history report. Your historical data is guaranteed for a year, but we do have customers that are able to pull up data much further back than that. The Summary button provides a quick snapshot of the miles driven for the date specified or the date range specified, as well as drive time and idle time in a bar graph format. The pie chart represents time spent in both customer and non-customer locations. When you're looking at the trip's history, you'll see up at the top of the page, you'll have a Live Positions button. That button will take you back to your live positions on the map. And whenever you're looking at the live positions on the map, you'll have the trip's history button, which takes you back to trip's history. If you want to download or print the trip's history, you can do that from the Report button at the top of the page. When you click the Report button, you'll be offered a standard or advanced report in Microsoft Excel. Clicking the 3 stacked buttons on the right will also allow you access to download the information in a PDF version. There may be other reports that populate to this list. Any reports that have been created in your system that access this specific data, if they've been set to populate to the list, will be accessible to you here. When you open a report in Microsoft Excel, you have full access to all of the features and functionality that Excel offers. The advanced reports will already have a pivot table built into them on a summary page. There's also the report page, and if you want to get to the raw data, you can unhide the tab for that. Please don't change anything in the raw data, as that will essentially break the report, but it is there and available for you to view if you need to dig down to something that's not displayed on the report page. Custom reports can be created from these standard Excel reports, but that's something that we'll cover in a future webinar. Reports work this way throughout the whole system on each of the menu icons, such as exceptions, engine data. Whatever data you're looking at, the report button at the top of the page you're on will give you access to the reports that are based on the data that you're looking at. Let's move on to the Vehicles tab. This is where you can view and edit your vehicles. You can also see details about the vehicles, like the version of the device installed, the serial number, the current driver if you're tracking driver identification, license plates, odometers, VIN numbers on your vehicles. You'll notice that these columns can be moved so that they are in the order that works best for you. You also have the option to sort your vehicle list by a variety of options. And you can hide columns or add columns as needed so that you can see the specific set of information that you need to see. When naming your vehicles, make sure that you use a good naming convention so that the vehicle names displayed on the map make sense to you when you're looking at information on the map. Also, if you take a vehicle or a device out of service, if you have a device that you put into warm status, those are good things to add to the naming convention so that when you see that device populated, you know it's a spare, or you know it's in suspend mode, or you know that you're in the process possibly of returning it to us for a replacement. When you just remove devices from your database or make them historic, you can easily lose track that that's a device that you're paying for. So I always recommend keep all of your devices listed in your account, but use the name field to identify if there's something going on with that device. When you click on an individual vehicle, all of the information associated with that vehicle will be viewable. When you first install your devices, assuming that your vehicle's engine control module reports the information, the VIN number and the engine hours and the odometer reading will be pulled in. If the engine hours are not reported, the device will begin calculating engine hours from the time the device is installed. The description field will initially be populated with the device serial number, which you'll also see as a couple of rows down. The description field is where you will rename your vehicle. You can also input license plate information. If an incorrect odometer has pulled in or no odometer, you can add it. If for some reason the VIN number did not pull in, you can add that as well. The comments box is a free-form field that allows you to populate any information that might be valuable to you in the future. If you have a mechanical concern about the vehicle, you may want to put that in the comment section. If at some point you replace a device or replace a vehicle with another, you may want that kind of information. And that comments field can be viewed on the reports as well. So keep that in mind that you have a free-form field for any kind of additional information you want to put there. The driver feedback tab is where you can add some settings to coach your drivers by utilizing the beeper on the device. You can turn specific alerts on or off here and set specific thresholds at the device level. You can also set this beeper to beep when certain rules are triggered, when you create rules in your rules engine. But these are driver feedback options that are set individually for each device. So you don't have to set them the same for all of your vehicles. On the Groups tab, you can assign vehicles to specific groups, and you can view the groups that the vehicles are currently assigned to. Finally, the rate plan tells you which service plan you have with us. There's another magic button up at the top of this page labeled More Details. The More Details tab gives you the ability to view PTOs that are set up and have the device beep when a specific speed is reached and a PTO is triggered. To give you an example, let's say you have a device with a bucket and you monitor a power takeoff to let you know whether or not that bucket is locked down. You can have the device beep if the vehicle goes faster than 3 miles per hour when the bucket is not locked. Custom parameters, the final tab that you see, is an area where we can set some advanced parameters if you're integrating with other systems or doing some more advanced work with your system that requires custom parameters to be entered. Now we'll move on to the Activities button on your main menu. The Activity menu gives you access to other reports, such as risk management, driver congregations, time card reports, IFTA reporting, accident and log data, and the hours of service reports. All reports are run the same way from their respective windows. The speed profile will give you a visual representation of a specific vehicle and how fast they were going compared to the estimated speed limit or posted road speed. When you click on the report that you want, you'll be presented with an options window to make the selections appropriate to that report. You can select from the default date ranges or set a custom date range, and in some cases you can also select subperiods. Complete the selections on the page, click the Apply Changes button, and the report will be displayed. You'll also have that report button up at the top of the page to download or print reports as we discussed before. Next on your menu is Engine and Maintenance. Under Engine and Device, you can find fault codes and engine measurements. You can view these the same as other reports and print them up in a report or advanced view. The fuel usage report is in its beta form, but it will allow you to pull MPG, distance driven, and fuel used for the time specified. It also covers electric vehicles and will also provide your EV energy usage. The DVOR report allows you to pull a record of only defective, only repaired, only certified, or repaired and certified reports from the DVOR module. If you pull the report for all, it will give you a complete record of pre and post vehicle inspections, along with any repairs that still need to be done or have already been accomplished. Trailers allows you to keep an active list of your trailers that can then be attached to a vehicle or moved to another vehicle through the Geotab Drive app by your drivers. If your vehicles are picking up and dropping off a variety of different trailers throughout the day, this is a very effective way to keep track of them. Also, it allows you control. Although the Drive app would allow drivers to add trailers if you give them that permission level, a lot of our customers have found that the same trailer gets added multiple times and the trailer list just gets out of hand. So they prefer to keep that an administrative function and require the drivers to select a trailer off the list. Finally, in this section is reminders. This is an area where you can create reminder rules for the services that need to be routinely performed on your vehicles. You can find a report that shows you what services are coming due, and you can also easily track your maintenance history. New to the next version of the software being released will be some additional features that allow you to import maintenance history as well, and also to add costing information in this section. That allows you not only to keep a record of your maintenance history, but also of your maintenance costs right within your GPS tracking application. Next, we'll be going over zones, and then we'll talk about rules that can be created utilizing both the zones and other criteria that's being tracked in your GPS system. A zone is a virtual location on a map that can be used to generate notifications or can be used to isolate information for reports. By creating zones, you can pull specific reports such as trips history and view how long your employees spent at a specific location. This is a great tool because if you know a job should take 2 hours and your people have been on the site for 3 hours, you may want to check in with them and find out what the problem is. You can also look at how long jobs took on a historical basis. When you're estimating a new project, if you know of a similar project, you can go back into your tracking data to see how much time the other job took. You can color code your customers with one color and vendors with another, maybe drivers' homes with a third color. There are preset colors, but you also have a full color palette to choose from. If you're a color coder by nature, you have the entire rainbow to work with. Trips history reports are much easier to read when you have a zone created and named, as opposed to looking at a generic address like 123 Main Street on your report and wondering what job that might have been. This is how easy it is to create a zone. I can create a zone on the map by clicking the points on the map. I can find by address and then create the zone once the address has been found on the map. We can also import multiple zones from a spreadsheet. So if you have a customer list that you can export from your accounting program, that can quickly and easily be turned into all of the zones that you need on the map. There are also options to edit zones, edit the zone shape, edit other parameters on the zone, or change the color. The default zone types that come preset in the system are customer zones, home zones, and office zones. But you can create as many additional zone types as you need. You may want to have vendor zones, you may have commercial clients, and residential clients that you want to keep as separate types of customers. Some of our clients even create zones for schools and railroad crossings so that they can create rules for speed limits that are enforced or stopping requirements that are enforced in those types of areas. The next section we're going to take a look at is the rules engine. A rule is defined as a set of conditions that, when true, trigger an exception that can be used for notification or reporting purposes. There are two basic types of rules: standard rules and custom rules. The standard rules are already built into the system. You simply turn them on or off and determine how you want to be notified if you want to be notified. They're broken down based on the pillars that we talk about for the system. The pillars of fleet management being productivity rules, optimization rules, safety rules, sustainability rules, compliance rules, and expandability rules. Advanced rules are rules that you create when you're looking for more specific information. For example, maybe you want to create a rule that when your vehicle's battery voltage falls below 9 volts, you receive a text message. Or maybe you want to set up a speed rule for vehicles that are going 10 miles per hour over the speed limit for longer than 10 seconds, and you want that specific rule to show up on an exceptions report. The possibilities are endless. To configure a standard rule, simply turn on the rule you would like to set. Make sure you click the Save button. You can edit the rule, such as the rule name, conditions, and add notifications to that rule. When you make those kinds of changes to a rule, that is one way to create a custom or advanced rule, but you can also create those rules from scratch. Before we go there, let's talk about your notification options. When you click the notification button, the one that looks like a little envelope there, you can set yourself up to receive an SMS message on your phone, kind of like a text message. You can have an email alert sent. Also, you can create a pop-up notification so that when you log into the platform or are monitoring vehicles throughout the day, a pop-up will occur. You can even set up an in-cab notification to alert the driver of unwanted behavior to the rule that you created. There are also some additional web options available to you. For instance, if you integrate with a camera system, you can create a web request to initiate a video upload. To create a custom rule from scratch, you'll come up to the top of the page and click the Add button. This will open the Rules Editor. Simply give your rule a name. You can assign it a color to be displayed on the map, or you can choose for it to not be visible on the map. You can assign a rule only to a group of vehicles, or you can assign it to all vehicles. And if you have a specific reason for this rule, you can put some notes here in the comment section. You'll then move to the Conditions tab, where you'll add the specific information about that rule. So, for instance, if I wanted to create a rule to let me know when an engine was overheating, I could simply click to add the engine data. I'm looking for measurement or data. The temperature needs to be set over or under. Then I click Add, which adds those conditions to the rules. If this is an overheat rule, I might want to let the driver know that his engine's getting hot. And on the Notifications tab, I can add that driver feedback to beep at the driver when those conditions occur. We can also add multiple conditions. For instance, let's say we want to identify if a driver is going over 15 miles an hour inside the school zone. We would start by adding the speed over 15 miles an hour and click Add. Then we would add the zone or zone type. In this case, it's a zone type, and we'll choose school zones off our list. And we want to know when the vehicle is inside that school zone going faster than that speed. We add the additional condition, and now we have a rule for a speed over 15 miles an hour and inside the school zone. There's also a More button over here that allows us to add additional conditions. If we're monitoring auxiliaries, they can be part of the rule. We can make a rule for a particular device or a particular driver. We can add the ignition state to the rule. We can even change our logic from and to or. By default, the logic in a rule is going to be and. But if we want to know if the vehicle is going faster than 15 miles an hour, for instance, for longer than 2 minutes or further than 1,000 yards, we can simply click the or button to change the logic within the rule. And this rules editor will allow us to create some very complex scenarios. The next item under Rules and Groups is Exceptions. This is where you'll be able to pull up your exceptions report and look at the exceptions or rule violations that have occurred. Once you've chosen the date period, select whether you want to run the report by vehicle or driver if you're using driver ID. Select the vehicles that you want to include in the report, and then select the rules that you want to view. Click Apply Changes, and the report will populate to your screen. Here we see the vehicle selected, how long the exceptions occurred by time and mileage, as well as the number of exceptions that have occurred. You can download this report, customize it, and upload it back into the system if it's a set of conditions that you would want to look at on a regular basis. The last menu item in this section is Groups. This is where you can create a group structure that allows you to assign vehicles to groups, users to groups, and drivers to groups to manage your data and to manage your management. Setting up the group structure is a little bit more intense than what we can go into with the time that we have allotted today. But please contact your account manager or our support department if you need assistance in creating and organizing the group structure in your system. The last tab we're going to take a look at today is Administration. Here we can view the reports, the dashboard, the emailed reports. We can also look at all the users that have access to the system, as well as their individual security clearances and the groups that they belong to. When you need to add or remove a user, just email us and we'll take care of that for you. To keep everything running smoothly, we want everyone to log into MyFleetistics directly so that they do not miss all the great content and support that we went over earlier. By allowing us to create the users for you, we can make sure that everything syncs up to MyFleetistics correctly. That wraps up our Geotab Getting Started webinar for today. You may have other questions. Feel free to contact your account manager or our support department to get those questions answered. We're here for you, but if you don't ask, we can't help you. So we look forward to hearing from you, to helping you to configure your system to do everything that you planned for it to do, and maybe even a little bit more.